Let's talk about the Renaissance period. So what is Renaissance? Renaissance is a French term that signifies rebirth. The term rebirth refers to a fresh start. Between the 14th and 17th centuries, Europe had a surge in creativity, particularly in the areas of drawing, sculpture, painting, and architecture. Europe emerged from the Middle Ages in the 1300s. The bubonic plague was a sickness that killed off a large portion of the population, yet Italy was strategically located between East and West, making it ideal for international trade. The bankers, who are the Medicis, used their immense riches to support the arts and science in the said country. People were portrayed more realistically and in three-dimensional surroundings by the early Renaissance arts. The introduction of perspective changed the way people painted buildings and backgrounds. Columns, pilasters, and domes were typical components in the architecture of the time, which was influenced by ancient Greece and Rome. Florence Cathedral, constructed by legendary engineer and architect Filippo Brunelleschi, is the most famous dome of all. These years have witnessed the explosion of creativity. The idea of a work of art no longer comes only from religion. Life during this time for men, women, and children, where men worked as bankers, farmers, or goldsmiths. Women were either silk weavers, midwives, and nuns. For children, they have to work hard as adults. In terms of wearing clothes, women wear sweeping gowns and every man had to wear a hat. First, we have Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci is probably the best-known Renaissance artist. Famous of his masterworks was the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. The classical Renaissance man was not only an artist but also an inventor, scientist, architect, engineer, and more. We also have Michelangelo, followed Da Vinci as a Renaissance man. He was an accomplished artist, poet, architect, and engineer. His best-known work is probably the sculpture David, which was completed in the opening years of the 16th century. The nearly 15-foot David depicts the biblical figure of David in white marble from the quarry at Massilia. Another famous works of Michelangelo included the statue of Pieta and the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. Next, we have Raphael. Alongside Da Vinci and Michelangelo, Raphael is known as the third of the great master artists of Renaissance. His works were extremely influential even during his lifetime. One of his most famous works is the School of Athens. It is a classical example of Renaissance art and culture in general, as a culture of the period frequently referenced Roman and Greek antiquity. And last, we have Donatello, hailed from the period known as the early Renaissance. Donatello worked mainly as a sculptor, and the realism he was able to create marked a stark break from the stiff and lifelike statuary common in the Middle Ages. One of his most famous works depicts Saint Mark and was completed in 1430 for a church in Florence, where it can still be viewed today.